The Gallowgate Shots podcast is sponsored by TyreSpot, the North East's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. TyreSpot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the GallowgateShots YouTube channel and podcast. We are here. It is the day after, the night before, where Newcastle are defeated by Barcelona at home. A 2-1 loss for the lads, but we roll straight into the next game. These games are coming thick and fast. It feels like we're going to be playing something like 4 million games in the space of 7 days in the next little while. But yes, the next one up is the long trip down to Bournemouth. I am your host, Chris. I am joined by a full house this afternoon. It is Dasmo, Nickel, and Dean, all with me. We're going to jump straight into it. And I think I don't want to focus too much on the Champions League game because we haven't done a match reaction to that one. But I think looking back on that Champions League game, it came with a couple of injuries which are going to affect our starting 11 going into that away fixture against Bournemouth. But I'm going to start with you, Nickel. It's a ground where we don't normally do too well at, and Eddie Howe tends to struggle when we're playing Bournemouth in general. Never mind just away. So we're in for a tough game, no matter what. Like I mentioned, there's been a couple of injuries last night against Barcelona. So Fabian goes off with another head injury. So he's going to be missing the next few games. He put on his Instagram account or Twitter account, whichever one he put it on, saying that he's going to be missing a little while. Kieran Trippier is a doubt because he came off with an injury as well. But having said that, do you still think we have enough in the engine to go again and get the 3 points against Bournemouth?
Yes, I think we do. And like you said, we're going to have a few changes, so that might affect things a little bit. But still going to go and look for our first away win of the season. We don't typically do that well down there, like you said. This isn't sounding very positive, is it? But I think on a positive note, we've got a much stronger squad than we did last year to deal with this kind of fixture congestion. You'd like to think so. I know we've got injury to Whistler at the moment and Jacob Ramsey. But we have got a stronger squad, and I think we'll see Voldemar come back in the starting 11 at the weekend. There'll be some shuffles in defence and maybe even in the midfield as well, to be fair. So hopefully the lads will be going down there and trying to get that first away win.
Well, we had a quick look at the Premier League table before we started, Dasmo, and I think everybody nearly fell off the seat when they realised the position that Bournemouth were in. Yeah. They've had a very, very good start to the season, haven't they?
Yeah, they've picked up some really good results, and Semenyo has been on form. He's leading the way with most of the attacking stuff. He's got 3 goals and 2 assists out of everybody, so he's certainly streets ahead at this point in time from everyone else. And we know what sort of threat they provide because we've seen it against us in the last couple of years. Like you mentioned, they're a little bit of a bogey side for at the minute, and especially if you think back to their game at St James's last year, they absolutely tore us a new backside hole, really.
They made what we have described as the best midfield in the Premier League look like amateurs.
Absolutely. I think that's definitely down to Iraola's style as well. We mentioned it in the group chat earlier that he's got them playing Spanish football, and it's a very technical game. And
that worked well last night for her.
It did as well. Jesus. But I mean, thankfully, I don't think you can say that the midfield that Bournemouth has is going to be as good as that midfield we played last night. But it's certainly enough to cause us problems, and it's something we're going to have to be very wary of.
So I said, Dean, that they've had a good start to the season, and that's not saying that we've had a horrendous start of the season, but we've been putting some decent performances and not really getting the results that we feel as if as a fan base that we've deserved. Obviously, Liverpool being the prime example of that one. Villa, arguably, as well. Leeds, we're never going to speak about that game ever again. But we need to start putting more points on the board. Yes, it's only about the 5th game of the season. But when you do look at teams like Bournemouth, and no disrespect to them, that they've got 3 wins on the bounce now in the Premier League, and we've only just grabbed our first against a poor Wolves side as well. Now is about time where we're looking at, and despite how bad we normally are against Bournemouth, you're looking at these fixtures at the start of the season and saying that you need at least a point from this sort of tie.
Mm-hmm. You do. I think for me, the biggest thing I'm going to say about this game coming up is we'll have to go on the front foot straight away and play a different game plan. Because I feel like every time we go there, I just feel like we're always playing defensively against Bournemouth. I always feel like we're always on the back foot against them. Every time I've seen them play against them, and their midfield somehow just absolutely annihilates ours. Especially that game of St. James Park last year. As you said, Daz and Moy, absolutely, the tours are new. But I think for me, we'll have to go there and get all 3 points. I think if we lose Bournemouth, I'm going to start worrying about our season. I know we haven't really been bad, like you say, because we haven't had a striker to go forward. But I think we'll get beat on Bournemouth. I think it's going to be a long season. I think that's when you start panicking a bit, because I think you can't really lose to teams like Bournemouth anymore. You've got a squad now where you want to compete with the best. You have to go out and beat teams like Bournemouth. No disrespect to them, but they are like the level of Barcelona. They have to go and win. And I think if he does start the new big lad, we could have a good chance. I hope he does anyway, or we can start someone else in the middle.
Do you think, though, Nickel, that we're maybe not giving enough credit to Bournemouth, really? Because if we're just looking at the last handful of fixtures since the start of the Premier League, they've got a 2-1 victory against Brighton. They go to Spurs and get a 1-0 win there. Yes, they do get beat by Brentford in the Cup. They also beat Wolves 1-0, and they give Liverpool a good run for the money as well in the opening fixture of the season. I'm saying they've done well. They've done really bloody well, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, their manager was up for Manager of the Year last year, I'm pretty sure, wasn't he? So they had a really good... They seem to be one of them teams a bit like... They kind of remind me a bit like Palace and like Brighton, where they always seem to sell the best players, but always bring out these like hidden gems. I mean, I'm sure Semenyo will be the next one to leave and go to a maybe a Champions League Cup or whatever. Hint, hint. But no, they're doing really well. They've got Evan Nielsen up front. They've just lost Otara as well to Brentford as well, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, but they've done really well to manage that, and it's not going to be an easy game. Definitely not. I think they'll. I mean, like Dean said, he wants us to go out and attack. I think they'll come on to us straight away. I think both managers have got that style of play where they want to go and win the game. They don't want to just sit back and hope for a point or try not to lose. So although I don't think a point down there would be the worst result, I know Dean's saying he really wants to win, and obviously we all do, but it wouldn't be the worst point in the world. But if we could get that win, and then we're into the Carabao Cup, obviously next Wednesday as well, that we've got to have one eye on that maybe as well. Hopefully we take care of that as well, and that will be a good little week for us.
Yeah, I think if we just quickly jump ahead to that game, the Carabao Cup against Bradford, you're probably going to see mass changes in there. So now is probably time to field your strongest possible 11 going into this game at the weekend. Then obviously there's a little bit of recovery time between the next. Yes, obviously we've got the cup game coming up, but like I said, you would expect some fresh legs to be put into there, because the fixtures after that Bradford game aren't great for us on paper. You've got Arsenal straight after that, I believe. Then you've got another Champions League game, away tie straight after that as well. And we're straight back in there. But what I want to do, and I told you the lads this before we went live, I'm going to try something different when it comes to the match preview, because one of the talking points in our WhatsApp group earlier today has been formations and tactics and who's going to be featuring in that starting 11. And there was a bit of a disagreement with certain players in there. So I think what we're going to try and do now is come up with a starting 11 from our side. Not necessarily what we think Eddie Howe will go with, but what we feel as if we should go with. And let's see if we can get through this without any arguments. So let's have a quick look. I won't be able to see you at this point, so I'll just be working my way through. So if anything knackers up, just let us know. So obviously starting goal, it's going to be
John Ruddy.
So we're going to have Nick Pope in goal.
An argument straight away,
So we've got Nick Pope in goal. I think the defence, I think this one might be where we might have a bit of a disagreement, because let's just say, for argument's sake, Trips, yes, we know he's a doubt, but let's just say he's fit, okay? what or who would you be going with starting at right back? Work your way through it. Have the discussion between yourselves, and let's see if we'll come to the same agreement here. Start with you, Nickel.
I'm personally going for this game, Livramento, just because this would be Trippier's third game in a week at right back. So, yeah, I would, considering his age, I would put Tino in at right back. And I actually think Trippier is normally really good for the big games, but I don't think he was great against Barcelona. But Tino at right back.
I agree.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think for me, Trippier has to be put on the bench for now. Like he's played too many games. I think he'd be better at Bradford than he would be in this game. So I think Tino at right back for me as well.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be
Believe it or not, in
game.
agreement with you boys. I think I'm a big Trips fan. I really am. But I think we've seen the last couple of games, even the Wolves games, he gave the ball away a bit too easy at times. And obviously last night against Barcelona, I'm not saying he had a bad performance, but I just think we need to, because we know how good of a player Lewis Hall is, which we'll get to the left side of the field in just a second. But I think it's time to focus on the likes of Tino and Hall just being our resident fullbacks and wing backs at this one now. I think we need to go back to that. So I'm in agreement. So I think it will be Tino at right back and Hall at left back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
On agreement. So let's just go to the left-hand side of our centre-back partnership. It's going to be Dan Burn. Yeah, no disagreements here. It's going to be Burn.
You can't drop. He got been too good.
Can't drop me. Got dropped a couple of times against Barcelona, mind. Running around in circles. But he's Dan Burn. You know what you're going to get from Dan Burn.
I mean, Pedri would do that to anyone. Pedri last night was...
He was chasing shadows at one point. I felt really sorry for him. But I'm in agreement. It's Dan Burn at that left-hand centre-back partnership. So next one. We know Fabian Shaw is going to be missing this one with, like I said earlier on, with another concussion injury. But he managed to skip the last one somehow, but he's picked this one up. So you've got a couple of options here. You've got dare I say Lascelles, but I don't think anybody's going to pick him. You've got Botman and you've got Chow as well. So who are you going with?
Chow.
I think it speaks volumes, Speaks volumes that he went with Chow last night ahead of Botman when Shea went off. So for me, it's going to be Chow.
Yeah, he's so comfortable on the ball. Like, it's how he can turn a man like that. He has to start more games. He was unreal last night when he came on. He was class.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think if he doesn't get played in this game and he goes for Botman just because he's obviously more used to the league and stuff, then Chow has to wait. I think he will anyway, but he has to play against Bradford just to get some minutes into him.
I'm in agreement. I think. Do you know what it is? I think Fabian will be gutted that he's picked up this forced injury where he has to take X amount of games off, or days off from football and activity, because I think he's probably aware of this, that when he loses that place in the starting 11, he'll probably find it difficult to get back in, especially if Chow comes in and performs well. And I think that would go for either player, if it was Dan Burn or Fabian. I think as soon as one of those misses a handful of games and somebody steps in and manages to do the job really well, then it's going to be really hard to get back into that and break up that partnership. But I think we've all been expecting at some point this season that Chow will get his chance in that starting 11. And I agree with you. I think that'll be coming up at the weekend as well. Moving into midfield. This was the one which has caused the bit of the debate in the WhatsApp group this afternoon, this morning when it was. A lot of people saying that maybe Joe Linton should be left out and Willock comes in and will play a different sort of formation. But I'm not sure if you are in agreement, but for me, I think we would be absolutely daft to break up the midfield three that we know can play so well when called upon with Joe Linton, Tonali and Bruno. I get the argument for Willock, I really do, in regards to driving with the ball and taking the ball up the field, especially in those transitions and things like that. But from what I've seen from Joe Willock, and not just this season, but for a little while now, I just don't see it. I really don't see what he's offering. And last night against Barcelona, prime example, he comes on and it looks like he's been playing football constantly for about 5 hours straight. because he just looks knackered. Like, even when he's coming on his substitute appearances, he looks knackered. He's losing the ball. He's giving away possession. He's tackling himself at some point. Like, he's falling over the ball. He's running into people left, right, and centre. And I might be harsh here, but I don't. His days have to be numbered.
Pure slander, Chris. Pure slander. I thought he was man of the match last night. Pure slander. He was fantastic last night. Every time he got the ball, he went straight forward. He's unreal. No, definitely out the team. Put him in the bin. I think his time's come. I think you can see why we signed Jacob Ramsey for. Jacob Ramsey is a Joe Willock replacement. Unfortunately, with Ramsey being injured now, Joe Willock's going to come out the team. But I agree, you can't break that midfield free. You can't. It'd be stupid if we do.
Yeah. Just on Joe Willock, I think he's in a bit of a catch-22 position because really he needs minutes. He's this type of player that needs a run of games. But with the way he performs and substitute appearances and stuff, he's not going to get that, especially with our midfield. So, I mean, there was chat that he was meant to be going in this summer. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in January or the summer after. Just he needs to go to a club and play regularly because he is a good player.
And we all know that's going to be Crystal Palace.
Yep.
Yeah, but for us, sure, he's going to play next Wednesday in the cup. You would think that's the type of game where he needs to impress. He needs to do something in that game, really, if he wants to have a chance.
I think a couple of players need to impress in that game. If I'm honest with you, we'll get that in a minute. But I think a couple of players need to impress in that Bradford game if they do start.
Moving straight up to actually, what formation do you think we're going to go for here? Do you think it will be the 4-3-2-1? Is it going to be 4-5-1? Like,
it would be interchangeable in and out of possession. I would have thought. Them too.
Okay.
Five when we defend and 3 when it's an attack.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go straight up top. Okay, I'm just going to skip the lads in those flanks first of all, and I'm going to go straight up top. And it's going to be Voldemort, doesn't it? It has to be, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has to be.
It has to be. I kind of put the suit up there. Has to be Voldemort.
You spelled that wrong. It's Big V.
Big V. But actually, I've spelled it wrong anyway. It's going to end in it randomly. So Big V. But yeah, I understood to a certain degree. I was gutted that he didn't start the game against Barcelona. I really was. But I could understand the reasoning why to a certain extent. But once again, I feel as if when we play Gordon up top, yes, I think he's adapting well, and I think over the years he may transition into that sort of role. But you lose so many of his qualities when he's not on the left-hand side, when he's on that left wing. Which obviously we are going to be missing Gordon for this game against Bournemouth because this would be the last game that he's suspended for. Which you would imagine that he's going to come straight back in against Bradford as well, just to get those minutes in his legs. But for me, and this is the one which I'm keeping on scratching my head at is Barnes' performances that we've seen so far this season. I think a lot of people will probably agree and see that we'll probably get the best of Barnes when he comes on as an impact sub. There's so many games over the last couple of seasons where he's came on and got well with the shit. Obviously, that West Ham one being the prime example. But then you look on the right hand side where you've got Murphy that's being called upon and basically taking the place away from Elanga, and he's performed really well. Murphy. We're seeing the complete opposite on the left hand side with Barnes, where he's had his opportunity, and he just hasn't really delivered at all so far. But do I have any other option right now?
I'll play Elanga left because he's done it for Forest. I would honestly, generally, give it a go just because I know Elanga when he played Forest, he's a swap with it was Hudson-Odoi. He's a top constantly all the time. And I think he can do a job.
He did last night against Barca as well. He played on the left a little bit against Barca.
Exactly. There you go. I think for me, you just put Murphy and Elanga on the flanks and it's like drop Barnes and bring him on as an impact sub. I think that's the only way we can do it because you kind of drop Murphy because Murphy, we pin the balls in the box again. Yeah.
I know we're saying this is what we would do, but I think Barnes will play on Sunday. I think it would be Barnes, Voltemada, and Murphy. I think he'll drop Elanga again. Which he was one of the best players last night. To be fair, against Barca. He was really good. He would have had a couple of assists if we'd had a striker up front.
Aye.
So because like you've said, Nick, because this is our starting 11, I'm going to put that one on. I'm going to put Elanga on the left hand side. I'm going to put Murphy on the right hand side. I never thought I would ever say this over the years, but I've really, really warmed to having Jacob Murphy in the starting 11 these days. I think we'll lose so much when he's not involved on that right hand side, and I think he's just probably the best word to describe him right now is reliable on that right hand side. He's always going to be brave enough to take a shot. He's always going to put balls into the box for the lads in attack to get on to the end of as well, like we saw against Wolves. Waldemar's debut. I don't know. I like Elanga as well. I do really like Elanga, but once again, from what I've seen this season, I don't think there's any denying that Murphy should be starting in that right hand side of the field over Elanga. Once again, maybe as that Bradford game comes up, you'll see a bit of a rotation there. But once again, like we saw against Barcelona, it was Elanga that got called upon to come into that starting 11, and Murphy misses out. So you just never know right now. It really is a toss of a coin. But I think it's key what Dean said, that we need to go out and attack in this one. We can't go and sit back. Like, just look what we did against Leeds. We play 5 at the back and we sit back, and that was one of the worst games of football I've ever witnessed. So you're just hoping that this next one's going to be completely different.
The one thing we also have to do, which we haven't really done, and we certainly really didn't. I mean, we did in a way against Wolves because that's how we got the goal, but Waldemar needs service, and that needs to come from not just the wings, but it needs to come from the lads in midfield as well. We need to be seeing him played in, whether it's through the middle from Bruno or Tonali, if it's crosses in from Murphy on the right, or if it's Elanga cutting in and feeding him that way as well. We need to give Nick the service, and I think we'll probably see him be very fruitful with that service as well.
100%.
I was disappointed last night when he did come on as a substitute. Not disappointed in his performance, because I think when he came on, we just could not get the ball at all anyway. At this point, we really struggled. And he was trying his hardest. He was pressing down and closing players down as best he possibly could. And I went, we already know that you struggled in the first 45 minutes in Premier League football. So stop chasing Barcelona around the field and just reserve your energy, because we're going to need you at the weekend. But I think, do you know what is? I really do think we've got a top player on our hands with Big V. I think he's going to be something special. And from that glimpse that we saw against Wolves, that his ability, that when he was dropping deep and the link-up play was second to none, some of the best I've probably seen for a long time. But then once again, you're also relying on the players around you to put the ball in the back of the net as well, not just him. It would be perfect if Wissa was available, because I think if Wissa had been a Newcastle player from the start of the season, we would have a lot more points on the board than what we do right now. It's a shame that we don't have that Premier League experience up top. But Volomari's got off to a great start, obviously scoring his debut. And like I said, I think he's going to be something special. Fingers crossed on this one. Dasmo, have you been doing your research?
I have.
You have. Well, take it away, mate. Let us know who the man in the middle is going to be.
Right. Referee on Sunday at lunchtime will be Rob Jones. Obviously, at this stage of the year, it's still his first game of the season forward. We last saw him when we beat Leicester 3-0 away at the King Power back in April. VAR for the game will be Matt Donoghue. His second VAR game of the season. The first one he did was on match week 1, which was Brighton's 1-1 draw with Fulham.
I want to give you a bit of credit here as well, Dasmo, because last night in St. James's Park, the referee made a decision, and I instantly said, "Fuck off, you Swedish prick." And Mark looked at us and went, "You only know he's Swedish because of Dasmo's ref watch."
Hey, what can I say?
So you're doing well, mate. The referee got a specialized insult just because of you and ref watch.
Excellent. That's what it's there for.
We'll jump straight into our match predictions, and I'm not going to start. I'm going to make one of you start. Nickel.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 1-1. I think we'll get a point, and I can't see us keeping a clean sheet. So I think, like I said at the top of the show, if we take a point now, it's not ideal, but 1-1. Voltemada on the score sheet and Semenyo for them.
Okay. Dean?
I'm going to say 2-1 Newcastle, and I'm going to go. I think they'll score first, but second half he'll change it, and we'll get 2 goals. I think it'll be the big lads scoring twice.
Desmo?
Just like Nickel, I think it'll be 1-1. I think it'll actually be. We might find ourselves another cosh quite a bit as well during the game because of how Bournemouth play. It'll probably be a kind of scrappy point away from home for us, but it'll be a valuable one at that. And actually, same for the goal scorers, Big Nick to get one and Semenyo for them.
Yeah.
I'm going to go something different. I'm going to go for a Newcastle 1-0 scrappy win. I think we've seen so far in the Premier League, obviously Champions League game against Barcelona notwithstanding, we've been really hard to break down. And that defence, yes, I know there's going to be what we're expecting to be changes in that defence, but I think Hall will come in with a point of proof. Same with Chow when he comes in as well. So I think we've seen it so far. Like defensively, we can be pretty solid, and I think that we could frustrate Bournemouth. And with the speed that we've got, especially if the likes of Alanga does start, and even the rest of the lads that have got those positional on the flanks or up top, that I think we can hit them on the counter attack and be dangerous because, like you said, Daryl, that Bournemouth aren't scared to come forward. So with them coming forward, it's going to leave those spaces that we can drop into and hit them on the counter attack. I think it's probably not going to be one for the memory books, and I think it's probably going to be a frustrating game similar to what it was against Leeds, but I think it'll have a bit more bite to it than what that did, because that was one of the shittest 90 minutes I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, I think a 1-0 Newcastle United win. I think if you ask many fans now, they probably would take a point because, like we said at the very start of the show, that it is one of those grounds and one of those fixtures that we do normally struggle with as well. But Bournemouth are a very attacking side, and we like playing these teams. It's going to be a lot more open than what it was against Leeds, but I just think it's just going to be as frustrating from both sides. I really do. But fingers crossed, like Dean said, I think we need to go out there and not necessarily prove a point, but we need to go out there and show that we can take games to teams as well. Because at the end of the day, we need to start climbing that Premier League table. I know we're so early into the season, but it can be a slippery slope if you don't get back-to-back results. And that's exactly what we need, and a bit of a bounce back from that defeat against Barcelona, because we dropped off in that second half. I'm not sure if we dropped off or Barcelona just stepped it up a gear in the second half because we were, like I said earlier on, we were chasing shadows, and I think we used a lot of energy in that second half, just both mentally and physically, just trying to keep up with Barcelona. But yeah, I think all four have gone for something which is not going to result in a Newcastle United defeat, which we will take right now. Do any of you have anything that you would like to add before we call it a day on this one?
I was just going to question, does anyone know the last time we won at Bournemouth? Because all I can remember is Jose Perez in 2016.
I remember when.
Have we won since then?
Lockdown. It was when we beat 4-1.
4-1.
Lazaro.
Aye.
I missed Lazaro, mate. What a goal that was as well.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, okay. So we won like twice recently against them.
Everyone's just completely forgotten that COVID season, haven't they? Like, just completely forgotten it. Best thing that ever happened to Steve Bruce, COVID, because he would not have lasted so long if there was fans in that stadium. Right, we'll end it there, though. Fingers crossed we do come away with all 3 points. Be fantastic if that was to happen. I do apologise for my voice and my blocked nose throughout this one as well, all that listening, because as you can probably tell, I am absolutely loaded and ill at the minute. But if you like this, just like the video, become a subscriber. It costs you nothing to do that. We did just hit 12,000 subscribers over the last 24 hours as well. So we're finally there. We'll push on to 13,000. If you do want to become a member, it is as little as $2.99 a month. You get extra access to videos. You get early access to videos, and you do get access to that Telegram group as well, which is just full of Newcastle United fans talking shit, basically, about Newcastle and football. And there's many arguments in that one as what there is in the WhatsApp group as well. So jump on, get yourself involved in the debate as well. Thanks, boys. Been a pleasure as always. We'll move on to the next one. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.